Try not to become a person of success, but rather try to become a person of value, by Albert Einstein. Smart guy. Hi everyone. Welcome back to Light and Shadows. My name is JF, and today I want to talk about values in spirituality. Personal values represent a framework of inner principles guiding one's connection to the transcendent, purpose, and daily actions. Core values often include compassion, integrity, humility, and gratitude, fostering harmony between inner beliefs and external behavior. These principles prioritize ethical living, such as honesty, kindness, and self-discipline, while encouraging personal growth and service to others. So, what's the difference between beliefs and values? In spiritual context, it is helpful to distinguish between the two. Beliefs, what you hold to be true about the nature of the world. For example, the universe is interconnected. Values, the principles you choose to live by based on those beliefs. Because we are connected, I value altruism. That's the difference. So, personal values in spirituality. They act as an internal moral compass, guiding how you connect with yourself, others, and the universe. While personal values are subjective principles like integrity or creativity, spirituality provides the framework and motivation for these values to thrive beyond mere social compliance. So what are examples of good spiritual values? Compassion and kindness, empathy and actions to alleviate suffering often linked with generosity and love. Integrity and honesty, maintaining moral consistency, truthfulness, and characters in all action. Humility and patience, recognizing personal limitations, respecting others, and fostering tolerance. Purpose and meaning, seeking significance beyond material existence and cultivating inner peace. Stewardships and responsibility, caring for the earth and taking personal accountability for your actions. Faith and hope, trusting in a higher power or cosmic order and maintaining optimism. Gratitude, cultivating thankfulness for life's experiences and shifting focus from scarcity to abundance. That's shifting your mindset. That's shifting your point of view. Forgiveness, letting go of resentment to achieve inner peace and reconciliation. Sometimes people have a hard time to forgive, and I've went through that already, but forgiveness, if not for yourself, actually alleviate the burdens that you carry. And that's something that'll bring you peace. Service, contributing to the community and seeing one's work as an expression of higher purpose. Now that's important because if we all did that, if we all serve each other in some capacity, imagine what the world would be. But you know what? We're so focused on our little world sometimes that we forget that there's others around us. And our purpose is not just us, it's everybody. So the role of values in spiritual practice. Ethical framework. Spiritual values often translate into ethical framework like ahimsa, which is a non-violence form in the Hinduism, Buddhism that promotes peace. And their development. These values are essential for personal and internal growth and maintaining spiritual, mental, and physical well-being. Connection to others. Spiritual values often emphasize the interconnectedness of all beings, encouraging service and community, as I was saying earlier. Leadership and daily life. Values such as honesty and integrity directly impact leadership effectiveness and fosters a life of purpose. If you're a leader somewhere and you're not leading with truth and honesty, you're not going to have many followers. I'm telling you that right now. You're going to be a boss, not a leader. And a boss, to me, is somebody that only serves himself or herself. A leader serves everyone, including themselves. So now that we've reviewed the good spiritual values, let's take a look at the bad spiritual values, because there are some. So, these often stems from ego, judgment, or the misuse of spiritual concepts to avoid life's responsibility. They turn a path aimed at connecting and growing into one of disconnection and superiority or delusion. Example of detrimental personal values in spirituality include spiritual superiority and pride, believing you are special or more evolved, viewing oneself as having reached a higher level of being compared to others, judging others' path, telling others they are living or practicing wrong. Spiritual arrogance, believing You are the expert in charge of your own transformation rather than remaining humble. Misuse of spiritual concept, the ego trap. Spiritual bypassing, using spiritual beliefs to escape from life, avoid confronting negative emotion, or hide from personal responsibilities. Again, not taking accountability for one's actions. Collecting experiences. Treating spiritual practices like a shopping trip to gain special experiences rather than for inner growth. Claiming to be enlightened, mimicking the end result of enlightenment, or bragging about spiritual progress. Using spirituality to feel superior, using spiritual knowledge to feel better than those who are not on a spiritual path. Rigid dogmatic beliefs, black and white thinking. Rigid dogmatic adherence to rules which stifles personal growth and empathy. Ignoring the unspiritual emotion. Repressing fear, anger, and sadness because they are deemed unspiritual or viewed as weakness, which leads to emotional numbness. Feeling your fear, your anger, and your sadness, which are basic emotion, is important. Regressing those just leads you to not being able to discern later on what's good, what's bad, and it just leads you down to a path of being closed emotionally. Self-centered and unhealthy motivations, focusing only on the self, using spiritual practices to gain personal powers, status, or to simply feel good all the time. But when it's only focused on you, it's not really spiritual, isn't it? Because spiritual involves all of us. We are all connected. We're all one. Whether you believe this or not, that is the truth. Lack of self-care, treating self-care as a sin leading to burnout and exhaustion. Using spirituality for material gain. The prosperity gospel mentality, which can prioritize wealth over true spiritual growth. And we've seen so many of those over the last few decades. You know, spiritual leaders who just are money grabs. They're not true, they're just interested, or they're just in it for money. Ignoring the present moment. Obsessively striving for a future enlightenment state while failing to be present in one's current life. I can never say that enough. Living in the present moment is so important. Yesterday's gone. There's nothing you can do about it. Tomorrow's not here yet. You can prepare for it, but you can't live tomorrow. It's not there yet. Live for today. That's the best way you can live. So, the takeaway. So when I think about personal values, I link those with authenticity and self-worth. So use your authenticity as a shield, because once you are being authentic, no one can touch you spiritually. And that's true. Once you live authentically in your truth, once you put your truth out there for everybody to see, nobody can touch you. No one can touch you, not spiritually. Sometimes you have to make yourself unavailable to someone in order for them to see your worth. When somebody has low values and you have high values and they don't see it, remove yourself from their life. Remove yourself from their lives, because they're only going to drag you down to their level. No, part of my personal experience, I used to be the nice guy all the time. I used to make everybody else a priority except for me. And I stopped that because it was not making me grow spiritually. It was hindering it. So I'm not the nice guy anymore. I'm fair. You want something from me? Okay. What kind of connection do we have? Have you done stuff for me before? And if I do stuff for you, will you be grateful for that? I think about these now instead of just jumping and say, oh yeah, I'll do it. No, I don't do that anymore. Overgiving, which is another thing I used to do. It doesn't make you unforgettable. It makes you invisible to people who only recognize you when you're useful. Think about that. How do you treat the person that gives all the time? A lot of time that person gets treated like crap because people take advantage of it. And that's all there is to it. Not all of them, but there will be quite a few of them who will take advantage of it. Some people think that they have to bring a certain skill set or a role or money in a relationship in order for the relationship to work. That isn't true. Your values are what makes a relationship work. What you are inside. You can be rich and have a miserable life. You can be poor and have a beautiful life. So living according to spiritual values has documented benefits for personal growth and well-being. I don't know if you knew that. Decision-making. Values like truth and justice provide a steady reference for choices in work and relationship. Resilience. Spiritual values such as hope and faith help individuals navigate hardships by providing a broader sense of meaning. Inner peace. Practices like self-reflections and mindfulness align your external action with your internal values, reducing cognitive dissonance and anxiety. Interconnectedness. Spirituality often shifts focus from self-enhancement, power, health, wealth, towards self-transcendence, benevolence, universalism, fostering deeper social bonds. Like I said, we're all in this together. So let me give you an example. I call that the bully scenario. All right. So the victim is always the one forced to carry the weight in silence. They're misunderstood, judged, and often disliked. Not because they did something wrong, but because they refuse to play along, conform, or stay quiet about the harm done to them. Standing alone makes people uncomfortable. So instead of questioning the cruelty, many choose to question the person who survives it. Think about that. Meanwhile, the bully is rarely alone. They're surrounded by groups, enablers, and people who laugh along. Not because it's funny, but because it's safer to fit in than to speak up. Because these people are cowards. They're cowards. They see something wrong. They have values, but they're not using them, right? And I'm sure we've all seen that at one point in time in our lives. I know I've seen it and I've experienced it. Those people call it jokes, drama, or both sides just to avoid accountability. The silence and laughter becomes shield that protects the harm and keep it going. So when you're a bystander and when you're looking at something wrong going on and you don't do nothing, all you do is perpetrating the harm that's getting done. It only takes one person to step up and say, yeah, you know what? This is wrong. This is not okay. Only one. So power loves an audience. Abusers thrives in crowd. And isolation is often the price paid by the one who tells the truth. I know something about that. Set boundaries or refuse to accept mistreatment. So when you're trying to understand the story, don't just listen to the loudest voice. Look for the ones standing alone. More often than not, that's where the truth is. Now, our values differ from person to person. We don't have all the same values, and that's okay. That's good. That's what makes us us. But when you start fostering bad values, that's when life starts falling apart because you are disconnected from everybody. You might be connected for a while, but it's not going to last. And it's going to be a cycle of up and down and up and down and up and down. And your life has no meaning, none whatsoever. And you're going to get to the end of your life one day alone, nobody to talk to because your values are shit. And that's simple as that. So that was it for values in spirituality. Now, I'm going to ask you again, as I always do, what have you done this week to share your light? What have you done? It's been snowing like crazy here, so I was out again, shoveling for me, for the neighbors, for everybody who needs it. You know what? It's good exercise. I don't mind doing it. And it helps others. And that's good. Helps my neighbors, helps my little community here. And it helps myself by keeping me physically fit. So what have you done this week to share your light? What have you done to help your community? What have you done to help yourself? And I can't never say that enough, especially with the way the world is these days. It's extremely important, guys, to share your light. The shadows that surround us lately, it's getting to be a little concerning, you know? But when we share our light, when we make somebody else's day better, you know what? They're going to make somebody else's day better. And that person's going to make other people feel better, and it's going to multiply and multiply and multiply. We just need to do it. And you know what? Like I said several times before, sometimes it takes 30 seconds just to make somebody's day. So anyway, that's it for this week. Before I leave, I want to thank everyone who's watching this. My video last week popped over 140,000 views. I'm flabbergasted. Like, it's crazy. I never expected that. I never expected that. I'm doing this to help myself, to tell my truth, and to help others, to share the light. And you guys are responding so well to this, and I'm so grateful. And I thank you for that. So until next week, I wish you light, love, and shadows. Have a great week.